It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, and good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Due Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday was Let's Talk About a Tuesday Church Folk Day, and oh my, we had some disturbing stories yesterday. We talked about the young man, the ex-NFL football player who killed his girlfriend and had just this bunch of melee and disconnect from reality, and he reaches out to GPT to find out what he should do after he kills her. Now, it's ironic because last week, Wednesday, that was part of Vivian's, socially conscious segment. And so now I'm saying to myself, well, what is this? This going to be the thing now for people to now, reach out to GPT? He's asking, how do you, I'm asking for a friend. How do you even say that to the chat GPT, that you asking for a friend? What would happen, or how does it look like, or how do you make it look like, or what do you do? If you ain't got a business killing nobody. If you now got to go ask AI to figure out what you do after the murder, then you know what? Then you needed to have thought about that thing before you even got started. So this just lets you know that just impulsiveness. And that's where that's what I thought of. That's where my head went when we finished and then started talking about the pastor who he pushes the elderly parishioner down the stairs. And now the church is in an uproar because half the church has voted to keep him in and half of the church has voted to keep him out. Now, my thing was, from what I saw, I couldn't really tell whether he pushed her or not. But what was disturbing was when she hit the bottom of those steps, he just sat there. He just stood there and looked at her. He didn't even go. I mean, even if a dog goes down the steps and lays there, you're going to run behind the dog and just check to see if the dog is okay. But he did nothing. So again, impulsiveness. Whatever happened between the two of them, Jati's clearly saw a different video than I saw, because she said that there was some exchange that she saw, which ended in him pushing her down the steps and still standing there watching her. So impulsiveness. What went on between him and Sister Mary that made him push her down the steps? And then he was so angry and disturbed and disconnected, yet again, that disconnect, that he ended up standing there looking at her at the top of the steps. I did ask the question to Pastor KL and Shantice, what would you do if that was your church leader? If this was your pastor? And they both said, and I agreed. No, we good. You ain't got to worry about me no more. I'm not going to be there. And I'm hoping that you wouldn't be there, because like I said, even if you can't confirm that you pushed her down the steps, we can confirm that you did not help. And that is a problem. He might as well have gone to Chat GPT and found out what he should do. That seems to be the thing these days, huh? We do have a responsibility, so whether we're talking about the NFL player, whether we're talking about the pastor, we are our brother's keeper. All of this murdering and, harming one another seems to be the theme these days, and it's scary because that's where we've landed. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Well, that's how we spent our Tuesday. Well, today is Wow Wednesday. Yes, and we are right in the mouth of hearing the socially conscious segment with Vivian. So go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's due time with Pastor Steph is on. Make sure that if you're out there, you hang on to your seat because we have no idea what she's going to be talking about today, and you may want to be a part of that conversation. So, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Like you would practice the piano, practice writing, practice whatever, and put yourself around people who are skilled in a physical talent so that you can hone your craft. That's the same thing you do with spiritual gifts. You intentionally put yourself around people who are excellent at it, who are honoring the Holy Spirit as the source of it. I was around people who actually loved Jesus and had integrity. I could see a million miles away as a very young woman when someone was just talented. And I don't say that in a negative way. It's amazing to be talented. I've learned so much from people who are talented. I mean, the craft of communicating, whether they're saved or not. Yeah. There's a craft to being a good writer. Like the cadence of the sentence has a rhythm to it. And they can write it. The words shimmer with just, God in his grace and mercy put me around people who recognized their talent wasn't enough. That if the Holy Spirit wasn't transforming that natural talent they may have into a gift so that it was dripping with the supernatural part that you can't manufacture. I can't make somebody's soul be different just because I'm a good communicator. That's the part the Holy Spirit has to do. And he's only going to give me that kind of favor if I'm actually walking with him.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it is Wow Wednesday. What a powerful PSA. Another bullseye, Shantice. Thank you for bringing it to us this morning. Well, we're not going to waste any more time because our girlfriend Vivian has got to hit it and quit it. Let's say good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wow Wednesday. How are you, Pastor Steph?
You got to do it like I'm doing it. I am well. Thank you, Viv. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Excuse me. Hanging in there.
All right. Terrence says that AI can miss V this time. All right now. All right. So you know what I always like to ask? What you got for us today?
All right. Today on Socially Conscious, we are starting off with news out here in New York. Reports are saying that more than 5 million people in New York alone are now considered living in poverty, which is about 1 in every 4 people in the state. That shows just how expensive it's getting to live in New York. Kids, of course, are being hit the hardest. About 69% of children in New York City, which is around 1.1 million kids, are growing up in a poverty considered household, or the household considered to be at or below the poverty line. This is one of the highest poverty levels the state has seen in over 10 years. The report says the main issue is that everyday costs like rent, food, and childcare are rising faster than people's paychecks. Because of that, many families are struggling just to cover basic needs. Leaders and advocates say this is a wake-up call and are pushing for better support and long-term solutions to help families stay stable. Not to get above the poverty line, but at least to stay stable. All right. Next, we have New York City putting a new rule in place. Now, this is an interesting article. They're putting a rule in place that will require the NYPD to release body cam footage faster after serious incidents like police-involved shootings or the use of force cases. Under the new plan, the department would have to release footage within 30 days of the incident. Right now, there isn't a strict deadline, which means videos can take weeks or even months to be made public, depending on the case. City leaders say this change is meant to give the public quicker answers and more transparency, especially in high-profile situations where communities are demanding to see what really happened. Supporters say it's about accountability and rebuilding trust, while the policy will still allow some expectations or exceptions for things like ongoing investigations, privacy concerns. The rule is moving forward, but officials are still working out how it will be enforced and applied in real situations. So as of right now, there's no deadline as to when these body cam footages have to be turned in. In such cases, they're saying that there are multiple documented cases and reports showing serious delays. A New York City audit found that the NYPD took over a year to release body cam footage in about 20% of cases. In other cases, footage requests have gone over 90 days with no response at all. And New York State Court even ruled that the NYPD unjustifiably delayed releasing footage in police shooting cases. So right now, Mamdani and his police people have come together and are putting this new rule, a rule in place that says police body cam footage needs to be released within 30 days of a police shooting case or in cases where force was being used during an arrest. 30 days. A new report, or next we have a new report saying that schools across New York City are among the most segregated in the entire country, meaning students are still heavily separated by race and or income. Even though New York is one of the most diverse states, many schools don't reflect that at all. In fact, they're saying Black and Latino students make up the majority of student populations, but many of them attend schools where over 80 to 90% of students are also Black or Latino, while white students are far more likely to attend majority white schools. The report also highlights that segregation is not just about race, but it's deeply tied to income. A large number of Black and Latino students are concentrated in high poverty schools, where a majority of students come from low income households. These schools often have fewer resources, of course, fewer advanced programs, and fewer opportunities compared to more affluent schools. Meanwhile, white and higher income students are more likely to be in better funded schools with more academic options. What a surprise. They're saying that this is happening because of long-standing factors like housing segregation, school zoning, and selective admissions policies. which continue to separate students even today in 2026. We are the highest segregated schools in the country. That is insane. But now we have our wow story of the week. I came across this story I thought was very interesting. They're saying a hospital out in Florida is now suing a patient who refuses to leave even after being discharged 5 months ago. According to the lawsuit, the patient was medically cleared to go home back in October of 2025, but is staying in the hospital room. Hospitals say they've made several efforts to get her discharged properly, including reaching out to family members, offering transportation, and trying to arrange a safe plan for her to leave, but she has continued to refuse. Now, if you're like me, you're wondering, why don't they just get security to come and take her out? But they're saying hospital officials say the situation is now affecting operations as the patient is taken up a bed that could be used for someone in need of medical care, while also using staff time resources. They're saying legally they cannot physically remove her, they cannot force her out, so they are asking a judge to formally order her removal and, if necessary, allow law enforcement to step in. This case is highlighting a growing issue in hospitals. They're saying that hospitals are facing many patients who are medically cleared but are refusing to leave, creating a strain on capacity and care. And while it may seem like, again, security should just be able to come in and remove her, they're saying it's not that simple. Patients have a legal right, even after being discharged, if the patient is not violent or an immediate threat, forcing him or her out could expose the hospital to legal claims like assault or patient abandonment. Hospitals are also required to ensure a safe discharge plan, especially if there are concerns about mental health or housing. That's why the hospital is going through the courts to get a legal order that allows them to remove her properly without risking a lawsuit. Now, I would have never known that this was a thing. I guess for me, when I'm in anybody's hospital, I want to get out of there as soon as possible. So very interesting to see that they are not able to just simply remove her on their own. But this has been Vivian with Socially Conscious News, giving you the news that we are following. And remember, if you do have any wild stories you would like to submit, please feel free to direct message me. My username on Facebook is Vivian BS. And come back every Wednesday to find out if your story has been chosen. Thank you, as always, to our loyal viewers and listeners. Thank you, Pastor Steph.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for your contribution into today's episode, and we pray you have a blessed day. All right. You know what? We got to go back and say good morning to all the viewers and listeners out there. You know, I surely miss Vivian joining us on these conversations. As I can only imagine her finding the articles and then not being able to talk about it with us. Well, hopefully she can throw in her 2 cents in the chat room. All right. Well, if you're in the room, make sure you say good morning to Pastor Steph. I want to make sure I say good morning to you. And if you're in the room, you got to let me know. Other than that, I don't know you're in the room. Let's say good morning to Serge. Serge said he purposely logged in early because he wanted to be faster than Miss Kenny. All right. I'm telling on you, Serge. I'm telling on you, Serge. So Serge says, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for logging in first, Serge. Go ahead, go ahead. We're going to have to get you a special shirt. All right. Let's say good morning to Miss Kenny. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And we have a check-in from Tori. Good morning, Tori. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're still hanging around. We got a check-in from our girl, Lady Tamika. We look forward to seeing you on the other side of the screen. Good morning. We got a check-in from Joy. Good morning. Hi, I am new. I am Joy. And we are joy. We have so much joy to have you. And we hope you're still hanging out so you can take part in this conversation. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Hey there, Terrence. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a chicken from our girl, Teresa. Hey, Teresa, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Miss Grace, if you're out there, we're saying good morning to you. And hopefully you're doing well and you're getting yourself together to get up out of there. So we are thanking God for you this morning. All right. We got to say good morning to the ladies who hold it down for us each and every time we are on. If it weren't for them, there would be no us. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice. Good morning. And we look forward to hearing from her this morning as well. And we have our girl Anika to say good morning to. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and holding it down. Helping us hold it down. Well, let's get to chatting, y'all. Ooh, Vivian got some stuff this morning. Wow. I'm saying wow already. Forget this last story. We got some wow stuff at the top of her items. All right. So let's get our lady Tamika on. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wow Wednesday. How are you today?
I am well, thank you. I am well. You know, I'm just jealous. You come here on this screen, you look like you sitting up in Tahiti somewhere with these summer clothes on. And I'm like, even in my house, I ain't sitting up in here like I'm in Hawaii somewhere. Oh my goodness, it must be nice and toasty in your house, girl.
Well, no, it's because I have my own personal summers, and if I don't, the world will know it.
Well, you know, I did see you with a fan one day a couple times.
I try my best not to make that obvious. You know, sometimes I'll take, a little piece of paper and I'm down here so you don't see it. But the summers come usually during the broadcast, so.
Oh my. Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that, because I was about to check the windows and the doors around here. I'm like, I'm in New York just like she is. Oh my, oh my, oh my. All right. Where's our girl Shantice? Let's say good morning to her. Good morning.
Good Shantice. Morning.
Thank you so much.
It's summer all the way around.
Yes. I'm looking. I'm like, I'm the only one who feel like I need an overcoat. Oh my goodness.
Well, if I get chilly, I just put this on.
Right. I got my blanket when the winter comes. I'm good.
Oh my. Ladies, Vivian hit us hard with some stuff this morning. Yo, more than 1 million people in New York City are considered living in poverty. That's 1 in every 4 in New York City. That is crazy. She said that means that also there's 1.1 million children who are growing up in poverty-stricken homes. And this is the highest poverty level in the state since 10 years ago. So we're talking about 2016. Well, interestingly, back in 2016, we were under a presidency that we are now underneath now. So the math, she said food and childcare and things are, constantly going up, and people can't keep up with it because, the income is not keeping up. And they're trying to find some long-term solutions. Oh, my. Lady Tamika, what we talking about here this morning?
This brings us back to that conversation about how they were going to take the money from those that have more and, help us, because middle class is what's footing all the bill. But see what's happening? Child care is ridiculous. I'm thinking about, starting a child care here just to get income, and the price of food, Al and I have always seemed like we've always been, a couple that, we cook at home, so we don't eat out much. But the price, we were just gonna go, do something fast. And when they told us, wait a minute, come again, how much? We're better off getting the things at home. And, we talk about all of these streaming services and like everybody's got their hand out, and when it comes to the check is not getting you doing this. I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, White Castle has been around. Just giving an example. White Castle has been around for I don't know how long. The burgers haven't changed. The fries haven't changed. Why is that price so high? Just
Child,
like I don't
for
understand.
one burger.
Help me make that make sense. There's so many different things that are the same. They haven't changed the amount. They haven't changed anything but the price.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Shantice, 1 million people living in New York City are considered living in poverty.
Not surprising. The price for everything, the price for the healthy food, the price for the junk food, the price for the fast food, clothing. If you don't know how to shop, and if you know how to, make your money stretch, you'll be all right. Even with children. But again, like Lady Tamika just said, just child care alone is like having a mortgage. And most people don't have. I remember growing up. I went to work with my mommy all the time. And I'm sure it ain't because she couldn't afford childcare. But that's not even an option nowadays. To take your child to work. I've never had an office job, so I have no idea of the dynamics of how those type of jobs work, because that's the type of job she had. But, with me being in the service industry, the food industry, you definitely can't take your child to work. You work in a restaurant. And there have been some servers who have had, who did that, part of the shift, their child was there and the other parent and whomever will come and pick them up. But that, you can't focus on them. You can't pay attention. You can't, so it's really, it's not surprising, unfortunately. It takes a lot to even make it from day to day in New York, especially New York City. So it's like, what? And then, we just got the news that they plan on raising minimum wage, but with them doing that, they're gonna raise other things. So really, it's not gonna come up. It's gonna be the same, just like now.
Yeah, you mentioned White Castle, and you said the size of the burger hasn't changed, the size of the fries haven't changed. Unfortunately, on the back end, they're eating expensive fees, higher fees as well. Delivery and, the cost of the items and stuff like that. They're eating higher fees as well. And who do they kick it back to? They kick it back to the customer. So, this is where we get hit over the head, with a White Castle's burger. They used to be a nickel. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm dating myself. They used to be a nickel. It is now, almost $3. One same size White Castle burger. So, this here, when it comes to, inflation and increase, we get hit all around. In other words, everybody's getting hit with it, and it's affecting the merchants. We talked about even when, they implemented the fee to go below 60th Street, how all of them either lost money or they had to pay out more money, because now they got to leave and come back, leave and come back, leave and come back. It's like crazy. What is going on? Sir says the only thing that changed is the chemicals that are inside the burgers and fries. Yeah, it's not as it's not the same quality. So you're right, Serge. But to think that, I just checked, there are 8.48, at least 8.48 million people in New York City, and 1 million people are living in poverty. For the state of New York and the city of New York, that's a lot of people. It may sound like, oh well, 1 in 8, but no, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. So, here we are. This is what we're facing. And what do you do? What do you do? There's nothing you can do.
And people are still coming. I look at, what Shantice is saying, with all of this other stuff. We're talking about healthcare. You got to get healthcare. You can't walk around with healthcare. And even if you don't have healthcare, by the time you need a doctor and you pay the price, it's $1 million. Remember the bag of chips in New York used to be 25 cents. Same bag. And now you're paying $1. So much air in your bag.
Yeah.
By the time you get in the chips, oh, it's already finished.
Yes. The little puffy cheese doodles. I think it's all a 4 in there. And you like, oh, well, the bag is only this big now. The bag ain't even the same. And then that tiny bag is filled with all the air.
Right.
So, we're really in a bad way here in New York City, which is why people are leaving New York City, and going, to other states because, they feel like they can make their dollar stretch. But if you don't take New York dollars with you, people, please understand this. If you do not take your New York dollars, for those who have a job that can, function anywhere in the nation, those are the only people that's going to benefit from leaving New York City. Because when you go there, their cost of living is lower, and yet they're going to pay you less. Not only that, don't forget, for the past couple months, we've been talking about the people out there in these states that can't even get jobs. So they're accepting all this abuse and disrespect on the job because jobs ain't so easy to come by. So it's a catch-22 situation. So, with much prayer, this is why I'm going to go here. This is why we need Jesus. Because I'm going to tell you something. I have seen on so many comedy shows, or I've seen some entertainers are interviewed, and they'll say, we didn't even know we were poor. It's just the way we live. Right? We didn't know we were poor. We just our parents my mom just made it work. I didn't know until I got older that that was poor, and that's how God will do you. He's gonna make sure you're not gonna feel poor. You might be a little snug, but you're not gonna be choked out. So try Jesus. Just might make it work for you. All right. There's a New York City rule, another one that makes your head spin, that will require the NYPD to release body cam footage much quicker, which is equivalent to 30 days. The department now has no deadline as to the span of time that it takes that they must release the footage. They're saying that there's some footage that has never been submitted. And they're saying that, major cases have been delayed because the body cam footage has not been released. And of course, what cases are you talking about? You're talking about the cases of any violence, any shooting by the cops, and this makes it look like they're very guilty, they're saying. And they're about to put the pressure on them. Now they're still trying to figure out how they're going to make this, make this happen. But you know what? Make it happen. This is a travesty. Shantice, is it not?
What is the point of the body cam if it's not automatically turned in? I asked from a couple years ago, why isn't this being streamed? Where it's automatically being fed into something that is going to archive the footage at the end of every shift. Why is it just only being recorded? God forbid something happened. You could be dealing with a cop who has integrity. God forbid something happens to where they lose or the body cam gets damaged on their way back to the station. Now, whatever footage they had that's needed is gone. Have it streamed. Stream it. Have someone who sits on the opposite side and that's their job. They ensure that each camera is being streamed. And when they go back, I was just watching the Black and Blue movie last night. What was it called? Black and Blue, Blue and Black, whatever movie called? With Tyrese and the cop who they tried to frame.
Oh, yeah. In California, yeah.
Yes. Yes. When they finish their shift, they have to go back and put the body cam back on the charger. So have someone sitting on the opposite end who has a timesheet for when it's the end of each shift. And you have to do it at least in double because everyone goes out coupled. And when they come back and they put their camera back on the charging port, it sends that signal to whomever's monitoring that virtually. And they just ensure whether they have to hit the archive button or whatever it is. But I don't understand what's the point in you mandating this, but yet it's not mandated for you to turn in the footage. That is just so stupid. And whoever is allowing that rule to be is the one who should be held accountable for all footage that was needed for whatever crime, whatever investigations, whatever evidence. They should be the ones held liable because that doesn't make any sense. That was the purpose of them implementing the body cam. Cops didn't always have body cam.
Right.
I thought the point was so that y'all could always have footage for when it's needed. That's just... Yeah.
All right, Lady Tamika, what say you?
We know that every officer is not, in arrears. But we also know that there are some that are, and the whole concept of a body camera was to be able to show the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We know that there have been many incidents where you go, he was handcuffed. How he shoot himself? Those type of things. And we've seen it. We've seen it on video. You can look at a video itself, even with or without sound, to say, something in your mind, something's not right. And so my thing is, you had the body camera, but you don't have a deadline to have it put in. How does that work? Like, what is the purpose of the body cam? And it's sad that in this day and age, for every dynamic that there is, somebody got to be the babysitter because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. When you come in, morning officer, blah, 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 or good evening, officer, blah, blah, blah. Let me have that, that body cam so that I can, charge it and get all the information. Weeks and months and years, we got family members that are still, in court trying to figure out what happened to such and such. They got arrested or they got locked up, and a week later they're dead and nobody seems to know what happened. It's high time that we get that done. Pay somebody, so that can be done, so everybody knows the truth.
Absolutely, ladies.
I feel like in some cases you can't handle the truth, and that's why they don't, do it. But it's horrible. Let the truth be known.
There you go. That's where I'm going immediately. This is all planned.
It is.
When they first listen, like you both have said, when we didn't have body cam, meaning, and when I say we, I'm talking from those powers that be. We don't have body cams. we need to implement body cams because we need to be able to see what happened. You know, they're accusing the officers of doing things, but you know, we put cams in the car, we put cams on their bodies, and we will get those questions answered. But we're not going to mandate a certain amount of time because we want to be able to go through the footage first. All of this is planned. This is why from the inception, there's never been an amount of time, because I can guarantee you that one of the purposes of putting the body cam in is to exonerate the officers.
Mm-hmm.
How do we exonerate the officers? Because we need to see the footage first. We need to watch what's going on. We need to view, and then we need to get our attorneys in place to see this. And now they're going to tell us how to spin this story when it's turned over to the other side, to the attorneys or to whomever. And we're going to be able to, we know how to handle this thing. This was never intended for the people of New York.
Mm-hmm.
It was never intended to protect the people of New York. Why? Because just like you both have said, it would have been laid out from the inception. Why? Years after. Shantice, look up when did they implement body cam footage for New York City officers? So all this time, let me tell you why you can't get, why it's such a delay. Not only are y'all watching the footage, but think about all the stuff that has been going on that they want to protect.
Yep.
Think about all the footage that's on them body cams and all the complaints that have been going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're not on top of it, because they can't be. If you gonna sift through every single incident of all the police officers in the city of New York, that means it's gonna take you 5 minutes to do so, because you want to make sure that your lawyers have everything that they need so that they can do whatever they need to do to already be ahead of the game. This is all a scam from the very beginning. Shantice, how long has New York City been with the body cams?
Since April of 17, so almost 10 years ago.
So 10 years. It's almost been 10 years and y'all still A, behind, and B, there's no time limit. In 10 years, you have not found a need to put a time limit on this thing. Where even when you say that there is some footage that has never been submitted, that don't make you put a time limit on this thing? Nah. This was the setup from the beginning.
Wait, they're saying that generally the NYPD retains video recordings for 18 months. No significant incidents are stored longer.
You don't get rid of nothing. You don't get rid of anything. I agree with both of y'all. You bring the body cam back in immediately. Why isn't this stuff streamed? We're right here on a streaming service. We're on a streaming service. And they can keep this stuff forever. Anything you ever put on YouTube has stayed forever. That stuff don't go nowhere. If you go back and look, they have things that have been sitting there for 20 years. They have things that's been sitting there for 20 years, but y'all gonna give an 18-month time span? Nah, this has been the setup from the beginning. You should automatically be streaming and locking in anything. Everything goes into an archive. Listen, this is the city of New York. No matter how many incidences we have, you should be able to hold it forever and ever. Amen. It ain't got to be held in no building. Just do what you need to do. Listen, wait, what do? When it's too much, we put it on the flash drive and we move over and we make room. You mean to tell me with all of this technology, y'all can't get this done? Nah, that's because this is all a setup from the beginning, from the very beginning. This was never intended for us to know anything. They were trying to hide from the beginning. They wanted to put protective barriers in place, and this was their protective barrier. When they wanted to look good, because New York City was not the first one to come up with the body cams, and we should have had the body cams a lot earlier. And now, in order to look good, they put the body cams in place, but they wanted to protect the police officers, and this is exactly why things are going down the way they are. Period. Point blank, period, dot, and on and on and on. We got Sirs that says 30 days is too long to give video files. Absolutely. Why we gotta wait a month? So there's a shooting on March 8th. We gotta wait till April 8th? Why? Again, set up, y'all.
If we're looking at that footage before the shooting, you know that Officer blah, blah, blah ain't right. Officer blah, blah, blah done shown you many times, either in his or her demeanor, in the way that they deal with other colleagues, something in, just going out, you harassing somebody and they didn't do anything to you. All of those things are fine. So if you're looking at the body footage, before the shooting, Officer such and such is not right and has not been right. But we'll appease the public by saying the body cams. We'll set them up by getting the body cams, but we're not going to record anything. Or we lost the footage when families are feuding. Oh, the footage. How is it that the footage disappeared? You chose to save your own behind. Blue saves blue all the time.
Yep, all the time. Let me tell y'all something. I have over 1,500 episodes that you can get access to. Mm-hmm. A Closer Walk Christian talk show started 10 years ago, June. You can have access to every one of the episodes. 10 years. But for the police officers, you can only get 18 months. Y'all need to stop. Just like you said, Tamika, just like you said, Shantice, you need to stop. All right, Vivian says it needs to be a law that they turn it in immediately, not 30 days, 30 minutes. Absolutely, Viv. If you had to use your weapon, you are taken out of service to turn in your body cam and give your written statement. Absolutely. Anika says the Blue is always known to protect themselves. The body cam was appeasement, in how they handle it. They had not intention to use it how it was intended. Absolutely. Vivian says, thank God for the cameras on buildings and streets and the unofficial camera people in the public, because that becomes accessible faster than body cams, and those solve cases faster. That's right, Viv. That's right. Nika says, think about the ones that don't even turn the body camera on, and they had to make a rule for that too. Absolutely. And we have an official check-in from Miss Grace. Good morning, Miss Grace. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yeah. Everything that y'all done said. Everything. Like I said, 1,500 episodes for Stephanie alone. But y'all can't get this done. There is nowhere in the world, whether you have an incident or not, when you come in, like Shanti said, you put it on the charger, they take that immediately. Somebody takes it immediately, and they go and they do it, whatever. Again, somebody's looking at it immediately. This ain't no, we gonna look at it in 3 days. Somebody looks at it immediately. Come on, all the people in New York City who would love to do something like this, child. And just get them to sign a waiver that says that you can't release what you see. Mm-hmm. That's it. You have a lot of people with integrity that would just want to do this so that we don't have any problems, so that the cases would be resolved quicker. There does not need to be any waiting period. 30 days. That's why I said, if there's a shooting on April 8th, you got to wait till May 8th. You got till, why? Again, I agree with Anika. It was never intended for us to see any of this footage. And this is their way of can you imagine? Since 2017, they've been getting away with all of this. Can you imagine all the stuff that has happened and no one has been able to say a word because ain't nobody got no footage and proof?
Then it goes back to what Vivian said, and this is why the cops are so furious when people start pulling out their phones. Because now you got where you could have had just this one angle from your body cam. Now you got about 14 different angles because everybody pulling out their phone now.
Absolutely.
So now you mad because it's like, oh wait, now I'm being exposed. Well, maybe there wouldn't be as many phones pulled out if people trusted the fact that you would actually do what you needed to do. I mean, because you can't say that people wouldn't pull it out at all. But that's the main reason why. That's the first thing people do. Because it's like, oh no, we're going to give an account. And there's even been people, how many times, again, back to the streaming, how many times have people streamed them being pulled over, them being shot? And only because of that streamed video is why the cops were interrogated or anything. It wasn't even a recording. They went live on Facebook or something. And it's like, oh yeah, the people going to see this. So now it's not just my eyes who saw this. It's other eyes.
Yep. You're right. We got to check in from Miss Herlima. Good morning, Miss Herlima. Thank you so much for joining us. Anika's right. The Citizen app doing much better than the police. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, talking about the streaming, you know, doesn't your Ring camera stream?
Yep. Yeah.
Right, but the Ring only catches certain things, like, you know, you have a parameter. So if it's not right in your home, you know, or right in your parameter, it won't catch it.
But it's still streamed. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's limited to what, and I agree with you, even if it's limited, there's an ability to stream. Correct. So in other words, the police ain't got no excuse. They have no excuse then to get this done. So if they could do that with the little Ring camera, even though there's parameters and limitations, y'all could build on that. There's no reason why at all. We got to check in from Adele. Good morning, Adele. Thank you so much for joining us. We have she says, shaking my head, but true. All righty. Another heavy hitter coming from Vivian today. Schools across New York City are mostly segregated. Wow. So we don't see it as being segregated, but they're saying that by the time the Black and Latinos are only looking at other Blacks and Latinos, and the white population is only looking at the white population, there's indication right there that there is a segregated issue. They say that because Blacks come from low-income households and other issues, that you are now becoming segregated even if it's not your intent. So by byproduct of what we talked about in the beginning segment, this person is intended. I don't know what Jesus doing today, but we have this troll guy who just keeps on coming in with different names. So you know what? Amen. Shout out to God, because somebody's getting stirred this morning. Off the subject, this little sidebar. Based on what Vivian was saying about the poverty level, now that automatically clumps you into segregation, because people who earn more can live in a different arena, live in a different area where they see only their counterparts. Well, it's the same thing with Blacks and Latinos. I don't know, Lady Tamika, what we talk about here?
I remember, I was talking to my brother yesterday, believe it or not, just about how things were working and the access that we had. We were one of the children, or one of two children. Our mother
found a way to make the resources so that we didn't go to our zone school. We didn't go to, like I've often spoken that I've never been to a public school in my life. I don't know what it's like, and there are other things that I'm not familiar with because, my mother had access. God was able to bless her with certain things, and they fine tune certain things, based on, they make it seem like, oh, well, but there is a divide. There has always been a divide with regard to that. We talk about how we went to a parochial school for high school and, even my lower grades, and with that, I found myself when I got older, or even, as a matter of fact, when I went to my first school, there were like 4 Black students. There were only 4, and we were grouped together, because there were only 4 of us in a whole school of people, and it does not surprise me now that even in this day and age, it hasn't changed much. It's still the same, and, Al he's worked in more than one school. He's worked in a school that was majority white, and you'll find that same, dynamic where there's 3 or 4 Blacks, and then he worked in a school where it's mostly Black. And the ones that were mostly Black lived in areas that were not the best, so it's been over 20 years. We're still dealing with the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Things ain't changed none. Shatice.
Not really surprised. I mean, they try to keep each group with each other. And even going back to when I was going to elementary school in the Bronx, it was like that for the most part. It's like you'll have this group mainly going to this school. It's heavy populated in this school, and so on and so forth. So to hear this now it's not really like, like, oh, it's just they're now, bringing it to the news. But you always notice that, especially once you started going to high school, and you got to pick and choose which high school you go to. You knew that Thomas Edison mainly had this group. You knew Flushing High School mainly had that group. You knew, so if it's like, if you went to Flushing, you knew primarily the Asians were dominating that high school. So when you saw Blacks, when you saw whites, it was kind of like, oh, okay, because that's the group. So I don't know, it's not really all that shocking. It's just sad that it seems like they're trying to do this, like, intentionally. That's the part that's like, high schools, it's a bit, because again, high school is almost like colleges. You apply to which high school you want to go to. And yeah, the powers that be have to accept, but when you sit and you talk to your peers, like, oh, which high school did you apply to? What high school did you apply to? And because of how they see the population could determine if I want to apply there or not. But for the most part, that's your choice. But this has been going on for years.
Okay. We got Adele who says, don't take no genius, but schools be a joke. All at Black schools, they try to institutionalize the kids. Shout out to God. They want to prepare them to be workers and felons. And here's my thought. You can afford to live where you can afford to live.
Mm-hmm.
Most teachers are from the hood.
Mm-hmm.
You don't find people from the other side of the fence really coming into the hood to teach. You may find some, but a lot of them grew up in the hood. They're not leaving their prestigious arenas to really come back into the hood. So my thought is, what are you doing for your child? what are we who come from the hood, who go back into the hood and teach, doing for our children? We already know it's a disparity between the Manhattanites. Let's do that. Let's talk about elementary school, because I want to break this up. So elementary and junior high, if you're in Manhattan and you live in the 90s and the 20s, you only certain people can live there. So you know what is going on there. You don't see a whole lot of us because we can't afford to live there. So they invest, the other side of the fence, they invest in their people.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing the same on this side of the fence? You know where we coming from in regards to the homes. You know where we coming from in regards to the environment. You know where we coming from in regards to income. Are you going into those classrooms and you are behaving as though you were working on 90th Street? The second part of that elementary and junior high area and daycare is parents. Parents, are you preparing your kids? Are you doing homework? Are you making them study? Are they involved in programs? What are you doing to ensure that when your children go to school, that they're not acting like they coming from a $5 home? Because Tamika just said her parents made it their business to send her to that environment. For those who cannot do so, what are you doing with your kid? So even when your kid goes into school in that arena, mm-hmm, where they live, that they're not acting like they go to the school in that arena where they live? Or are they going to act like the $2 hoe? I'm just going to say it just like that. Now, when it comes to high school, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. What did you invest in your kid in junior high and elementary and daycare, so that when it's time for them to choose a high school of their own, they can get into any high school they want to? So whether it's Bronx High School of Science, whether it's, maybe, a specialized high school or whatever, Thomas Edison, whatever, they don't have a problem, and they're not stuck going to the school in their zone because they didn't only got a 65 average and they can't go nowhere. Mm-hmm. So my question becomes, how do we handle this? Because I don't care nothing about what they set up. I'm sorry. I can't. As a single mother, I can't. I remember telling y'all a story. When I moved, I had applied in the Bronx. I had applied they had brand new housing going up. And they had put out all these applications, and it was by a lottery. And it was a church. I think it was a Catholic organization that had put all this money out to convert 23 buildings. And it was 702 families that they were going to house in these brand new buildings. And they were not row buildings. They were like in a section of the Bronx. So you can have a building or two here, 5 buildings there, 1 building here, like that. And it was mainly for lower income families and single parents. Mm-hmm. So I applied for, it was Shantice and Shawnee's at the time. I applied and we were chosen. So perfect, because now I'm going, and it was only a percentage of your salary. There was no Section 8. There was no housing. It was just, this was their program. So I told Shantice, mentioned it to her. We went there for like an orientation. So they wanted us to bring the children because they were teaching the children how to use the gates on the windows and how to get out of the apartment. God forbid something happened. They had a wonderful, wonderful program laid out. Shantice mentions to her teacher, my mommy, and we're moving. And the teacher asks, where? I don't know how Shantice knew this address. Don't even ask me because I don't know. But she told the teacher, it was a female teacher, she told the teacher, and the teacher said, have your mother call me right away. Well, before I could call Miss Jackson was calling me. She said, Miss Griffin, she said, listen to me and listen to me carefully. She said, my husband is the superintendent of the schools in this area. I asked him, what's the rating of the school that was around the corner? Because of course, if I'm moving, I'm going to put her in the school around the corner.
Right.
Because it was a little distance. It was some distance. It was like on a train. It was like 5 stops on the train, something like that. So she said, I asked him. He told me, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Save your student. She said, so here's what we're asking. My husband he said they're working on building. He had just not that long ago became the superintendent. And that was one of the priority schools because that school was doing so badly that was a high priority school for them to turn it around. He said, tell her to keep whatever she's got to do, keep her daughter where you are in that school. And I'm saying to myself, that's 5 train stops. And I had Shawnice, who was not school age. So I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Because they'd already put in and they had given me child care, right where we were going to be living. So I'm like, well, how am I going to do all of this? Single parent. This is why I bring up this issue, what I'm saying to you about. I don't care what anybody else says. What are you willing to do for your child?
Yeah.
So she said, Ms. Griffin, whatever you need to do, we're telling you. She said, Shantice is doing very well here. She said, my husband is saying this. Do not take her out and put her in that school. Whatever you do. I didn't know about God like I know about God now. But I said, you know what? I guess we're going to get on this train every day. Every single day. We got up. We walked to the child care provider for Shawnice. We got on the train. We went uptown, took Shantice to school. I got back on the train, went downtown to Manhattan, and had to do that in the reverse and have Shawnice picked up by 6 o'clock. That's what I had to do in order to ensure that my daughter got the best school care that she could get. There were times when, thank God for my mother. Oh my God, thank God for my mother, who was like, all right, Steph, I'll help you. I'll go get the kids for you. And she would leave her job, get on the bus, get Shantice. They would walk to the next bus, get on that bus, walk all the way, because that wasn't where the bus was, walk all the way to get Shawnice, and then they would walk, and she would take the girls home. What are you willing to do for your kid? I'm not a super mother. But what I'm saying is, this is on you. This is on you. Tamika's mother and father said, hey, they're not going to no local school. We don't like that school. We're going to put them over here. And they facilitated that. What are you willing to do? What is the rating of your school? Again, when it comes to elementary and junior high, they must go zone-wise. Now it's a little different in junior high because they're now making it like the high schools where they're making, like specialized junior high schools and stuff like that. So you can, what'd you say?
I said, thank you, Jesus, because
yes.
I was just, I thought about my high school at that time was Franklin K. Lane. At that time, they locked a teacher in a closet for 3 days. Why would I go to that school? So I was thanking God that we went to Bishop Loughlin Memorial High School, which I still, will give rave reviews. It's a real good school. You gotta do what you gotta do for your babies.
Right. That was East Side High.
Right.
Yes, it was.
Right, that was New York's East Side High.
Yes.
No, and just like you said, Tamika, do what you need to do for your kids. You know what I'm saying? So if you cannot afford, or you cannot, like I said, I was blessed to be able to make that trip every morning. Every morning, I was able to make that trip. And like I said, there were times when my mother would do the opposite for me, but there were other times. Not only that, but I had to get to work on time, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be up again. I had to be back to the daycare at 6 o'clock. I got off at 5. I had to be there at 6. So the struggle is real. The struggle is real. But what are you willing to do for your kids? In elementary and junior high, you have no other choice. But you have options. I'm sorry. So if you see that your child is going to a school that is not rated well, then you need to get on the school PTA or the advisory board or fight.
And now they have you can actually Google something simple.
Yes.
When you start looking you go to your own, like when you start looking to relocate, you start researching what schools are in the neighborhood. They give you the rating automatically. You don't even have to ask.
That's
you don't
right.
have to do the school inquire. Technology makes it simple for you.
Yep. Do the
Ask ChatGPT.
Oh my God.
They'll tell you which school to go to.
All right. Anika says, I live with my grandma to be zoned for a good elementary and high school. Again, the sacrifice of the family. Relocate your kids for a minute so they can get the best education. Miss Grace says, my husband used to talk about Bishop Loughlin High School because he told me it's a good school. All right. So, again, what are you willing to do for your kid? We know, I don't want to hear about the setup of the man. I'm just so tired of us talking about how we set up. But
you the man.
Right.
You be the man.
Yo, then what are we willing to do? What are we doing for us? How are you training your children? So here, let's talk about the times when we hear the kids are cutting up in the school. But you mad because your kid is going to a school that is a low, poorly graded, and your child is helping the poor grade. Again, what are you doing with your kid? Is your kid going up in there and they busting out the school grades and all this kind of stuff? Because I'm sorry, there are too many excuses that are being made for these kids not to get a good education. When I went to school, I wish I would come and tell my mother that, I ain't passed because, the class is distracting. And, there's a class clown and they was in the back with a food fight. Oh, there'd be a fight, all right. Right up in there, 13G, there would be the fight. We didn't have those options. You go to school, you figure it out. You work it out.
You have to sit at the teacher's desk.
Okay?
You better get that work done.
Right. Do you do the extra due diligence to speak to the teacher and say, you know what? So-and-so is getting, lower grades and they claim that this is going on, or, what can you give my child for extra credit? No,
Pastor Steph, they're not to cut you off, but that is so serious. I can't tell you how many times I've had to speak to children about asking their teachers for help asking their teachers for extra work to take home because they've come and said, oh, I noticed my grade is slipping. Okay, did you tell mommy and or daddy? Yeah. What did they do? Or they either didn't do anything or they said whatever they said. And it's not, and I had to remind them, like, listen, whether your parent is a scholar or a bum, their school career is over. This is about you. You better go to that teacher and tell that teacher that you suck in that subject and you need extra help, because for whatever reason, they don't do really like they used to do when I was in elementary, and they pulled you out of the class to take you and get the extra help in whatever subject. They're not really doing that now. Let's say you're going to have to take initiative, because guess what happens? You told mommy or daddy you needed help. They were either negligent or they did their part or halfway did it. You fail, you getting the beating. So guess what you better do? Regardless of what they did or not, you're going to get the beating because you didn't pass. So you need to learn to speak up for yourself and ask for that help. And that'll teach them to not only do that in that case, but across their lives. Because listen, I need help. Ain't nobody gonna speak up for me the way I'm gonna speak up for me, because I know how much help that I need. But yes, Pastor, to go off that, I had to, because it's sad. Unfortunately, it's not like when y'all were coming up or I was coming up. And parents are actually in these teachers' faces. Listen, what else is there? Like, what else can be done? Are there any more electives? Are there free tutors in the school? After school, forget dance and all that. And after school, if my child is failing, there's no time for dance. And after school, is there extra help after school?
Okay.
It's like how you in dance and art and all this and after school, but you failing. I don't understand the logic, but no, parents are not really doing that now. So it's really up to those who know what it is to embed it in these kids. You're going to have to learn to speak up for yourself, because unfortunately, the parents don't care enough to do that.
Right.
But they want to criticize the school. And
that's what I'm saying. All I hear is, the man trying to keep us down, and they setting us up for failure. Okay, so now that God has given you that level of knowledge, and you're not oblivious, then what you gonna do about it? All right. So how we gonna make this happen? You have to do. Miss Grace says, I couldn't even act up in school because my mother worked at the same school I went to. She worked for the Board of Education. Lock and loaded, baby. Locked and loaded.
Why your mama do that to you?
That's all right. She made sure everybody was kept in line. Absolutely. All righty. We have our last item. And this is interesting. So a hospital in Florida is suing a patient who's refusing to leave after being discharged as far back as 2025. So we are in March. We're on the second half of March. So now they can't get somebody out who has been discharged since 2025. They said they've made several attempts and given several options for her to leave safely. They've reached out to the families, all of this kind of stuff. They say it is affecting the hospital. They need the bed. And, it's not that she's, noisy or violent or anything like that, but it's messing with the operation as far as they're concerned of the hospital. They've even gone to they're at the point where they've asked the judge to allow officers to either remove her or if they discharge her somehow, making her discharge. And they're saying they're finding that many patients are now doing this, and it's not that simple to get people up out of there anymore. They have legal rights, and they can't discharge her. They say that, with the mental health issues going on and housing issues going on, that's kind of causing people to, behave differently. Now that it's time to be discharged. Serge says these parents want to come up through their kids, having them do all things to make money. Yeah, you never know. You never know, Serge. You never know. All right, Shatish, you got first dibs on this one.
So the poverty level is so high that I now got to try to live in the hospital. Who gets discharge papers and says, you might as well hold those? I ain't leaving.
Why does she put, only she can put these things in these ways to me?
So that's what they said. They knew when they heard, oh, you can go home tomorrow, that they weren't going nowhere. So they sat and waited and let them do all this paperwork. But sometimes, and I never understood that. I'm like, if you told me I'm going home tomorrow, why is it taking you all day today to get these papers together? Like, I don't, why? That just never made sense to me. But I never worked in the hospital, so I don't know. But you knew yesterday that today was coming, God spares. And you told me yesterday I was going home today. So you let them take all day today, drawing these papers up to then look at them and take it. And when they keep passing this room, they see you in there chilling with the remote, asking for more apple juice. What is the problem? Who wants to stay in I was watching something the other day, or I don't remember if I was watching something or I saw someone comment on something. They were saying people die more from what they said, like they don't die from what they went into the hospital with. They die from what's going on in the hospital, meaning because all the illnesses and everything. That's what gets people.
They try to discharge you quickly because they're
right.
For something you didn't come in here for.
Right. So for people like me, where almost my nose have to almost be falling off for me to go to the emergency room, because the second I walk in here, okay, I'm better. Thank you. I'm going home. I'm going home. No. Now I know the hospital's for the sick, but why are all these sick people up in here? No. That's me. I don't understand. Why would you want to stay there? It has to have something to do with the fact that the poverty level is just too high, that you don't want to now deal with the outside of the hospital. Because outside the hospital, you now got to buy food. You got to pay for streaming services. You got to do all that in the hospital. If you want a TV, you got to pay for it. But it's just so much easier, I guess, to stay in the hospital. That's some mentally challenged thing, like the situation going on there. So now they got to go to court, like this is COVID, and you don't want to pay your rent. Or someone went on vacation and came home and you squatting in their apartment. Like, what is up? So there's no consideration for the fact that I know what it is to sit and watch my mother, oh my goodness, my grandmother, be in the emergency part of the hospital for days because there were no beds available. And they needed a bed. Not they want to stay there. They need, because I've been planning on how to break them out of here, but they have to stay. And because there are no beds, they're in the emergency room part where there's only a curtain this thick separating them from the other people coughing. And because now you want to just chill here, there are people who are downstairs who actually need not only that, you get a certain type of care when you're in a room versus when you're in the emergency room. I don't care how good the nurses are. The volume is just too high a lot of times for the nurses to tend to the way that they would even want to, in the way that you would need. That is just selfish and remedial on so many levels. They should have to pay one hefty fine after this is settled, because this is just bogus.
Lady Tamika, they can't get you up out the hospital. Now they sitting up in court litigating how to get you up out of there.
We just said that there's a poverty level that's increasing. We have issues we have and had issues with people coming into your home. You go away for a family vacation, you come back, you got a whole household of people that weren't there when you left. Now, in New York, there was a ruling about basements. You couldn't rent out your basement. Now there's an opening to be able to rent out your basement. This just happened within a couple of days. Then they also stated that they would, if you had a home with a backyard, they would create something similar to a pod for somebody to live in your backyard. Now, why would I be surprised that in addition to all of these things, now they're squatting in the hospital? You imagine you working, you doing what you need to do for your people that need help. And here is whomever. She said, they don't want their Jell-O. I'll take that. You can bring that here. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not sick. Maybe you had a cough or whatever. They took care of your need. Now you got 6 and 7 people in the hallway in their beds because they can't find a room. And you're sitting there, can you turn that channel for me? Can I have another blanket? I'm a little chilly. There is nothing wrong with you, ma'am. Please find yourself with all of the different openings that there are. You don't have a friend. Obviously, she might have been that lady that moved in with the best friend.
And got kicked out.
She was working she's living in the hospital. And I understand the responsibility of the hospital. If someone has a need, you're supposed to take care of it. But they did their job. They had one job, to service her, to aid her. Now you got
to get her better.
Yeah, but now you got people bringing you Jell-O and turning the remote and folding your blanket, turning your bed down for what? There's nothing wrong with you, and you're trying to live in this place. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And of course, you don't care about anybody else because my needs are being taken care of. And wouldn't you be concerned? All of the different things, the doctors go into this room and that room, and there's nothing wrong with you now. How do you know that when they come from one place to another and touch you, that you're not going to be infected with something? Wouldn't that be more concerning? That's just me.
Okay, so I'm envisioning this. As Shanti said, my mother used to be in the emergency room for days. I've had to wait for quite some time to leave the crowded emergency room where the people couldn't even move in order to get a bed upstairs. And to me, this is easily remedied. You can't put them out the hospital. That's fine. How about you put them downstairs with all the other sick people? Because if you're in the emergency room, you have to service us, right? Why you can't swap places? Why you can't swap places? They in the bed. Move the bed. Roll the bed. That's how they get us from the emergency room. We don't walk. They roll us in the bed. So all you need to do is unlock the bed, have the transporter, swap places, find a place where they are not outside, where somebody will be coming through every once in a while, because it's hell in the emergency room. Ain't no, man, just the busyness of the emergency room make you sick. Forget about the coughing. If I didn't hear one cough, just the busyness. And for me, if I'm there, I'm sick. I don't go there unless I'm sick.
You got it.
Sick. There's no way in the world they want to stay after that. Of course, I would want to stay if, like you said, Tamika, maybe I was the one who got put out. Or Shantice, you said, I'm living I'm living in luxury now. I got remote control. Because by the way, TV is free. And like when your grandmother was there, TV is free.
Well, that's why they stay there.
This is what I'm saying. TV's free. Phone is free.
Right. You got it, man.
For nothing. Right.
So that's like being in jail, but with your own TV.
That's
you don't have to pay for lights, water.
That's right.
Gas,
that's right.
TV, phone.
Yeah. So I don't see the big deal. If they don't want to leave, don't make their conditions so enjoyable.
Right.
You just swap out the people who need to come from downstairs. You take them downstairs and you put them in their own wing. And you come through every once in a while and you check on them. You give them their meds. Because you don't want to make them sick all over again. You give them meds. And you give them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and tuna fish. Ain't no Jello. They get dead serious. Change the schematics. Change the schematics. That's what you gotta do. I don't understand the dilemma. You tell me. Now I'm still going to petition for you to get up out of here. But I promise you, since this is the thing to do, we're gonna create a wing just for you and your people. People like you. I'm gonna clear out this area over here, and that's where you're gonna be. And I'm not putting no TV up in there because I'm gonna tell you something. When you're down in the emergency room, you ain't got no TV. You got no TV. Even if you're lucky enough to end up in like an individual room, because sometimes you'll end up like in a single room. There ain't no TV there. You looking at the 4 white walls. That's it. Because you don't need no heart monitor if you there and you well and you ready to be discharged. Your heart is fine. So we ain't got to check. We come through every once in a while, check your vitals. Just like they do in the emergency room. Roll that little thing, cart, check your temperature, your blood pressure, and notate it to show that we have paid attention to you and be gone. But as far as you being comfortable, they didn't say we had to keep you comfortable. They said we couldn't put you out. They said we could not take care of you. We taking care of you because when you're in the ER, you're getting the bare care until you get upstairs. So,
but you need Jesus when you're looking forward to the hospital food. That really goes to show what you don't have to look forward to on the outside.
On the outside. You're not gonna make I'm at the point you're not gonna make everybody else's life miserable.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna have that kind of power. You're not gonna get that kind of power. You're not gonna get that kind of power. Adele says people are crazy. Vivian says, no, that's not a concern. If you get me sick, I'm in the right place. She says she'd rather risk it than be out in the cold wondering where her next meal is coming from. It makes sense to me. That's fine. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. We can't get rid of you. We're going to give you the bare necessities. There's your wing. Ain't nothing but you and well people. You ain't got to worry about getting sick. You and all the well people who ain't got nowhere to go, who's going to insist you stay because you worried about what you're going to do when you get out in the cold. And you, no. Because let me tell you something. I done been in the hospital for a week and they couldn't feed me. So yeah, guess what? They ain't got to feed you either. So you get the one juice that you get that dry bagel that you get, man, we're going to make you comfortable, but we ain't going to give you luxury. You're going to be sick of that. And if you don't, it's okay, because we ain't got to have a whole bunch of people servicing you. Again, when you're there, they come around periodically in the ER to service you. So guess what? They're going to come around periodically to service you too. I really don't see the dilemma here. Miss Grace says those types of patients need a psych referral. Well, that's what they're mentioning. Vivian said that, with all the mental health issues and, homelessness, that this is what they're doing. And I'm saying, I don't think this is a big dilemma. I don't think this is a big, because here's the thing. Pay attention. Let's say for argument's sake, we didn't transfer you to the U wing, right? And now you get mad and you want to cause havoc. Tell me what happens when you cause havoc in the emergency room.
Don't they call it police?
They gotta put you out.
That's right. Oh, bingo! Come on. All I'm waiting for you to do is to get so frustrated that you're gonna go smack down an IV pole. You done. You're done. As I said, this ain't no rocket science for Stephanie. Yeah, you mad? You say, okay, you know what? Y'all don't want, I haven't seen anybody. Y'all won't give me a TV. I'll just pull somebody's IV cord out. Okay, go ahead. Because automatic security is. Listen, I don't know where you are mentally.
No, I know.
You got to be twisted mentally to want to stay in a hospital. I don't even care if you don't have a place to live. I'm sorry. I'd have been in a hospital, and there ain't a place I want to stay. Okay, but if my concern is housing, food, I can't get TV at home because I can't afford it, so you're going to stay here, then fine. I'm just going to set you up nicely, and I'm waiting for you to cut up, because the first time you cut up, I got carte blanche to get rid of you. Because let me tell you something, when you go in the emergency room now, you got to pass security. That wasn't the way it was years ago. I'm sick. I'm walking in the emergency room like this. I can't even move. Shantice knows. She didn't drop me off. I'm like this. Barely moving.
Take your bag before you go to the counter.
Oh, ma'am, please put your bag up on it. And I'm looking at it. Y'all gonna be picking me up off the floor in a minute. Yes. So it ain't, you can't, in other words, once you get them out, they cannot get back in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry. Y'all ain't thinking. Hire me. I'll help y'all. I'll help y'all.
What are they hiring you for?
Helping me to strategize to get to deal with this problem. Y'all gotta go to court. This is a whole court case.
This already tell you who's running the hospitals. This is why this side of the fence couldn't own no hospital, because that would have been. Imagine someone on this side of the fence owning a hospital, and I'm getting a phone call at 9 p.m. I done just walked in the house, and you calling me, Ms. Washington, we have a patient that we are discharged, and they still don't want to go. I'm like, well, how many hours has this been? Hours? It's been about 5 months. Well, you're fired for calling me with this. Okay, now I gotta go back to the hospital, and I'm gonna get them out myself. Cause see, now the whole ride to the hospital, I got all the scenarios going in my mind, and I'm like, I hope they do put up a fight. I don't need no cops, because I already got my cousins doing security, and now I gotta call. And so like this just wouldn't make it to no court. It'll make the news. It'll make the news, but it ain't gotta make it to no court. Not to get you out.
No,
to get you out. This is just crazy.
To answer your question, Shantice, when you're being discharged, there's something that they're doing differently now. When they give you the paper to discharge, you can say whether you feel you're ready to be discharged. You have to sign. So you can refuse to sign and say, no, I don't feel like I'm well enough to be discharged. This is how y'all end up in these dilemmas. Because for whatever the reason is, I'm sure what happened was there was somebody who said they discharged me, I didn't agree, and now they made it a rule that in order for you to be discharged, when you sign, you are agreeing that if you are ready, willing, and able to leave.
You got to sign?
Yeah. You sign. You've always signed. No. You've always signed your discharge paper. But now they've implemented, do you feel you're ready to be discharged? And on the paper, on the back of the paper, they say you can appeal your decision. Their decision.
Well, I don't remember nothing about signing. That just goes to show how quick I run up out of there when they say we ain't find nothing. I don't need no paper. What I need the paper for? And they've had to tell me, well,
person done.
Miss, you have to wait for the why. Can I wait outside? I don't want to be in here. It's just too much.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's so. When you open up doors like this, and like I said, I can easily see. I can easily see how they ended up. You know, where they're explaining this to you, and they're asking you if, you know, you are Oh, wait, we got a nice suggestion here. A nice suggestion. All right, here. They said you all need to suggest that idea of swapping bed locations to the hospital administrators. Oh, yes. Oh, you better believe they be getting up out of there real quick. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. But yeah, that's the new thing. That's the new thing where, you know, you have to agree that, you know, I feel like I'm ready to be discharged. And if you do not feel like you're ready to be discharged, you can appeal their decision. So I'm sure you're appealing their decision from the inside, because you're not going to leave and then, you know, fight. You're appealing it from the inside. And this kind of gives you that segue of kind of staying there longer than the average person. You know, what you described, Shantice, is the average person. Nobody wants to stay there on an average once you're well enough to get up out of there. You like, oh, now what time are we leaving? Like you said, hey, remember me? You told me 3 o'clock this morning I was leaving. It's 8 o'clock now. Yeah. So, boy, Vivian can sure bring it. Ladies, thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation. And we pray you have a blessed day.
Thank you, you too. Have a good day.
How we end up here? You know, the stuff we talked about today, you know, really indicate just where we are in this world, where we are in life. You know, you've got that they now have to sign a law that says you must turn the body cam in, you know, within 30 days. That person could die. Either the officer or the person involved or the people involved. Somebody could be dead in 30 days. And to the point of you need to tell them they have to turn it in, period. Because as Vivian reported, there are times when they didn't even get the footage at all. You have the fact that 1 million people, it's registered that at least 1 million people in the city of New York, one of the richest places to live, that they are living in poverty, not by choice, but because of the economic standards and status of this city that is so expensive that an average paycheck is not even keeping you above water. You're in poverty. You have the other story where the schools are segregated, you know, not by choice, but by choice. You know, not by choice, but again, by economic status. You know, if I did have money, I wouldn't be living here. I'm living based on what I can afford. And unfortunately, my counterparts are not really my counterparts, because economically they can do better, which means that they can live in a different a location with a different group of people. And now we're segregated. Now, some people would say that this is intentional. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But here's the thing. If we were not put in tight situations, could we see God? Ooh. If everything was the way it was supposed to be, would we need God? If people are walking around here, now listen, check this out. 1 million people, it has been declared that 1 million people, at least 1 million people are living in poverty. And this 1 million people don't think they need God. Oh my God. 1 million people. You have 1 million people who are living in the evidence in the evidence that they need God, but they don't want God. So if God allowed everything to go well, you think people be looking for God? If 1 million people are living in poverty and they're like, okay, you know what? Again, how many people are living in poverty who know they living in poverty? Maybe I'm living in poverty. I don't know about it. I didn't live in no well-to-do, no rich mansion. I was raised in the projects. And we managed. It wasn't always gravy. It wasn't always great, but we managed. You know, I have people who say to me, when like that'll come out every once in a while, and I'm like, I know, I was raised in the projects. You ain't gotta tell me about X, Y, and Z. They're like, you were raised in the projects? I'm like, yeah. And it was like, you don't speak like you were raised in the projects. Like, oh God. And I understand what they mean, because it's like some of us who are there, gosh, they ain't never left there. And even when they left there, gosh, you wouldn't even know that they had left there. But you know what? Pay attention. Remember I said it's what you do for your household and your people. I was raised in a 2-parent home, but I had an extended family who was like my home. They were like I was living right in their house because we were always there. They were very active in our lives. They always made sure we had, even if it wasn't the food, they made sure we were fed morals. They made sure we were fed God. They made sure we were fed the right way to do things. And I mean, and you know, sometimes we even laugh because, you know, we were taught to say expectorate opposed to saying spit. You know, we were taught to say other things that didn't depict, we didn't know better. It didn't depict we were living in poverty. So when I spoke, that's probably why people can't detect that I was raised in the projects, because I wasn't spoken to like that. Not only did my grandmother, gosh, always spoke as though, even for the pulpit, always spoke as though you in college somewhere. Auntie Pam, Auntie Brenda, they spoke on that level as well. So you didn't go around your family. I had uncles. They didn't speak like that. They didn't speak as though we were standing up in the middle of a park, because they wanted us, their nieces and their nephews and her grandchildren. They wanted to make sure that we got the best. That was their concern. They didn't care about where we lived. They didn't care whether you didn't make $100 versus making $5. They invested in us. And you don't even realize what that means. I don't care nothing about the school system in that manner. If you are unhappy with your school system, then go and fight. But while you're fighting, stop pushing the tablet in front of your child. Stop telling your child that they can just kind of go into some mental health moment and do nothing. Don't help them become lazy. Give them the chores. Give them incentive. Help them understand. I don't care where we live. You don't have to be a product of where you live. You know, this is why I said, I'm telling you, the sacrifice I made, it wasn't easy. I thank God that I wasn't sick back then, because I would have never been able to accomplish that with my girls. But I don't take no credit for that, because I was taught, invest in your children. I was taught that. So when the request came, the lady was begging, the teacher was begging, Miss Griffin, please do not take Shanti. Whatever you have to do, get it done, so that she does not go into that environment and potentially kill everything that she has. And I'm like, well, I guess I got to do it. Because in my head, all I knew was invest in your children. You make the sacrifice. You brought them here. You brought them here. So now invest in them. Now, I'm going to bring them here, but now I'm doing the best I can as a parent, right? And this is all I can afford. I can't afford to send my kid down to 90th Street. I can only afford to send my child to a zone school. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm working. I'm putting food in the house. I'm doing whatever I got to do to get the bills paid. But that's where it stops. Oh, well, however the school goes, you know, I send them to school from 8 to 3:30 or whatever. And then, you know, whatever they learn, they learn. I'll come home. I'll check no homework. I come home. I'll ask them how the day is going or what happened at school today. I don't invest after that. I don't invest. So I don't care what the school has planned. You know what that says to me? That's like what the enemy, what the enemy has planned for Stephanie's life. I'm going to step up into that because I can't do no better. There's always God. And God is going to continue to show you, y'all can take whatever it is the enemy has to offer. So y'all can take the beat down school. But are you making sure that I'm in you so that you can raise above that level, even though your child is in that school? We've got DAs and presidents and all kinds of doctors and lawyers who were raised in the public school system. I'm sorry, these people don't have that story of where their parents could now ship them off somewhere and rezone them like Anika's family. They didn't have that option. They had to go through the public school system. But if you look at their lives right now, you could look at their lives right now, you would never know. You would never know that they were raised in the public school system. I was raised in the public school system. I don't feel any like, oh my gosh, I really wish that I had gone to the right school. It was what it was. And I had white teachers. It was what it was. I went to a high school that was my zoned high school. I didn't apply for a specialized high school. I went to a zoned high school. And I joke about this all the time. And they say, oh, here you go. Again, for the 4 years I went to high school, when I graduated, I got an award for never being late or absent. That's not, you understand? That's not a banner. What that shows is you can make it happen. Could I have been late? Could I have been absent? Absolutely. And you can't tell me in 4 years I was never sick. We were very well, we were very healthy kids. But you can't tell me that in all the 4 years in snow, because back then you got snow. I remember walking to school. I used to walk to school every day in high school. I didn't take no bus. I used to walk to school. It wasn't around the corner either. And I remember walking with the schoolmate, and we were just falling on ice. Every couple steps we were down and cracking up laughing. Falling all on the ice, black ice. You couldn't see it. It looked like it was fine, but when you stepped on it, you were on your butt. And I kept up, and I got up, and I kept going to the school. And when it was time to go home, I walked home. That's what God needs us to do. He says, every time you fall, just get up and keep on. Just get up and keep on going. You don't have time to fall and lay down. Our children are depending on it. A child is dependent on you getting back up and keep on going. And get up the next day to prepare to do it all over again. That just has to be your mantra. I gotta get up. I don't care how many times I fall. Get up and keep on going. Don't let nothing stop you. I don't care nothing about no school and how they set us up for failure and how the teachers aren't what they used to be. Fine. Then you invest in your child. You see what's there, you fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Simple, plain and simple as that. You fill in the blanks. But if you send them into this world equipped to be strong and courageous and not fall and give up. I always, when I got sick, my youngest girl she was about maybe 9. And one of the things I was so grateful to God for, and like I said, I didn't know God like I know God now, was that I always invested in the girls where, God forbid, He closed my eyes, they were prepared. They can move on. And I think we're just robbing our children. We're robbing them of that today. These kids don't know how to function. They don't know how to make it. Because God is nowhere in the equation. You are leaving them to a wicked world that has the concept of no investment into a certain body of this world, as well as being a dog-eat-dog world. You make it as you can. And I always tell parents, you got to prepare your kids for, if God close your eyes, they can make it. Because here's the problem. I've watched people raise children where family, God forbid something happened to you, family would take them, but family ain't gonna let them live the way they used to live with you. They ain't got no job. They ain't got no get up and go. They sleep till 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Where you think? I had 3 girls that worked. When it was time for them to work, they got out and they went to work. And I told you that I was blessed enough to have one that just kept going to school, just kept going back to school, just kept going back to school. But they were active. They were productive. Now, God forbid something happened to a family member where they don't do nothing. Y'all didn't let them just lay up, live, and just parlay. And now I'm saying I got room for them. If not, I'll make room for them. Because I'm not going to see them live in the street or with strangers. Well, when you get up in my house now, there's this shock because you got to do something. You got to now go out and work, or you got to go to school, or you got to go do something. And they have not been prepared for life without you. I went to a funeral. We were at the repast, and we were talking to a woman who, I don't even know how we got on this subject. Oh, we were talking about where we live. And she said, I used to live here, but we moved away. And they loved where they lived. Her and her husband, they were empty nesters. They relocated. They were having an enjoyable time in their life. And she said, we moved back here. So I said, well, what made you move back? She said, my daughter was in a fatal car crash. And we had to take care of our grandchildren. So we moved back. Now, they could have picked up the grandchildren and taken them to where they were, right? But I guess, they're thinking, their friends here, their little lives are here. They probably had moved into like a little community of older people and things like that. Them kids wouldn't have been enjoyed. They had already lost their mom. So they made the sacrifice to move back. And I said to myself, we just don't know. And I asked her, I said, how old were the girls? Because they were girls, I think it were 3 girls. And I said, how old were the girls? And they were young. They were young. I think she said the oldest was like 12 or 11, something like that. And I said, wow, we just don't know. We got all our plans laid out. I'm sure she knows she was raising the girls and they had all kinds of plans, what she was going to do and how she was looking forward to grandchildren and watching her children grow up and become productive, citizens and possibly graduate college and get married and have families. And the oldest was about 12 years old, the average of like 12. We don't know, y'all. We don't know. We don't know. And because we don't know, we have to be prepared. Because we don't know. Get up and do something. Get up and keep on going. But I'm going to tell you something. You can continue to fall and get up and keep on going. But are you going to be spinning your wheels like a hamster? Or spinning on a wheel like the hamster? Or am I going to incorporate God, make him the head of my life, and make sure that when I get up and I'm going to keep on going, that I'm going with some substance, that I'm going with some support, that I'm going with some backup? Because people that don't know God can get up and keep on going and they can be successful. But I always say, sprinkle a little Jesus on that thing. You think you're successful. What would your life with God as the head? What would it be? What could it be? So listen, we've heard that we live here in New York City. We heard that we might be living in poverty. We heard that the body cams, the police officers can do what they want to do. They ain't got to be held accountable to nothing because nobody know what they did. We done heard that the schools might be segregating our kids. What we gonna do? We can't change any of that. If we are doing the best that we can't change any of that. I can't change the segregation of the school. I cannot change that I might be living in poverty. I cannot change what they're doing in the police office. I can't change. But I know I can choose God. And God can change what's going on in the police department. God can change. Even if I'm living in poverty, I would never know, because I ain't lacking nothing. Because the word of God says, I have never seen mine begging or forsaken bread. I can still survive in a school that's segregating, but God says I'm in the head and I'm not the tail. He says I'm above, but I'm not beneath. I'm in the front. I'm ahead. I'm rich in houses and land because my Father is rich in houses and land. So even though I can't do it, I serve a God that can. And you're looking right now at a person that I don't doubt God for 1 minute. I don't doubt God for 1 minute. I want you to have that same level of confidence. The only way you can have that confidence is if you make Jesus your personal Savior. Try him today. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew, the ladies, for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping us keep that chat room alive. Miss Grace, you must be doing real well. You was up in the chat room today. Whoa, giving God the glory. All right, please do not miss this opportunity to choose Christ as your personal Savior right now. Please do not miss this opportunity, even if you've chosen Christ as your personal Savior, but please do not miss this opportunity to grow closer, strengthen that relationship with him, because later is not promised to any of us. And you don't want God to close your eyes and you 2 French fries short of a Happy Meal. That might work against you. Until tomorrow, God spares, where it's Therapeutic Thursday. Until then, I love you.